Lesson 74, Compound Adjectives. Hello and welcome to this lesson. Today, we're going to talk about compound adjectives, adjectives that are made up of two parts, usually connected by a hyphen. These are very common in English and can make your descriptions more vivid and precise. So, let us get started. Form and meaning. First, let us understand what compound adjectives are and how they are formed. A compound adjective has two parts and is usually written with a hyphen, for example, well-dressed, never-ending, and sky blue. Its meaning is usually clear from the combined words. The second part of the adjective is often a present participle, ending in ing, or a past participle, ending in ed, except for irregular verbs. Here is a useful language tip. Some compound adjectives use a hyphen before a noun but not after a verb. For example, we say a well-dressed man, but we say he is always well-dressed, no hyphen after the verb. Personal appearance. A number of compound adjectives describe personal appearance. Here is a rather far-fetched, meaning hard to believe, description of a person starting from the head down. Tom was a curly-haired, sun-tanned, blue-eyed, rosy-cheeked, thin-lipped, broad-shouldered, left-handed, long-legged young man. He was wearing an open-necked shirt, brand new, tight-fitting jeans, and open-toed sandals. So, these compound adjectives paint a very clear picture of what Tom looks like. Personality and character. Other compound adjectives describe a person's character. Melissa was absent-minded, which means forgetful, easygoing, relaxed, good-tempered, cheerful, warm-hearted, kind, and quick-witted, quick-thinking, or sharp. However, she could also be a little big-headed, proud of herself, two-faced, not sincere, self-centered, always thinking about herself instead of others, and stuck up, which means she thinks she is better than other people, and this is informal. So, compound adjectives can also describe personality traits, both positive and negative. Prepositions and particles. Another special group of compound adjectives has a preposition or particle in its second part. The workers' declaration of an all-out strike forced management to improve conditions. All-out means total. Once there were fields here, but now it is a totally built-up area, meaning covered with buildings. That student's parents are very well off, which means rich, but they do not give him much money, and he is always complaining of being hard up, which means poor. I love these shoes, and although they are worn out, I cannot throw them away. This area was once prosperous, but it now looks very run down, meaning in a very bad condition. Collocations. Here are some other compound adjectives with typical noun collocations, words that often go together. Air-conditioned rooms. Bulletproof windows on the president's car. A business class ticket. Cut-price goods in the sales. Duty-free items. Handmade furniture. Interest-free credit. Last-minute revision for an exam. A long-distance lorry driver. A long-standing relationship, meaning one that has lasted a long time. Off-peak train travel, at a time which is less busy. A part-time job. A so-called expert, meaning called that but perhaps not really. A sugar-free diet. Time-consuming writing of reports, meaning it takes a lot of time. Top-secret information. A world-famous film star. Changing compound adjectives. You can vary compound adjectives by changing one part of the adjective. For example, from curly-haired, you can make long-haired, red-haired, or wavy-haired. Similarly, you can have first-hand knowledge, first-class ticket, and firstborn child. So, that is our lesson on compound adjectives. These two-part adjectives will help you describe appearance, personality, and many other qualities with greater precision and color.